Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Let's take a look at the chart. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. 411.47, 8-month rising channel bottom. We tested it a month ago for 2 weeks in a row. At the time, we'd mentioned how it can contain selling through the rest of the year into the first quarter, and above which, holding above 411.47, we expect 430.02 as a 2 to 3 month objective. We are well on our way to reaching it. In fact, that 488.53 December high, that December all-time high, is in reach. Possibly today with present volatility, we can top out there for a day. You know, if you want to assume the potential for a week, be my guest. But with upward momentum firmly intact, I would be careful. You know, you can sell it under the 3-star weekly containment scenario. Obviously, you just want to exercise prudent risk management. If we close above 488.53, we're likely to reach our objective at 530.02 within another 2 to 3 weeks.
If you're looking for your daily NVIDIA analysis, you can now find it at wickedstocks.com, where it's part of a full suite of daily analysis videos, including the Daily Spy Report and Daily Triple Q Report. Sign up now and get immediate access so you don't miss a single day.
And that shows up here on the daily chart. So 468.37 is our support for the day. That is the high settlement price that was put out in October. There's a series of highs here in the 470s, but it really is 468.37. Yesterday's, Monday's low was 467.66. And so if we close below 468.37, that's a good high for the week. I'll get to that in a moment. Downside trade than anticipated. But holding above 468.37 should now yield 488.53 this week. Possibly today, where we can place a daily high. And that's as much as I'm going to say. I don't expect a weekly high there, but double tops are common in the stock market. And so, you know, be my guest. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm saying, you know, if you're a 2 to 3, 3 to 5 week swing trader, if you're a 2 to 3 week time frame, 488.53 is a 2 to 3 week time frame level. Because if we close above it, our overall 2 to 3 month objective, then likely within about 2 to 3 weeks. And we can top out at 488.53 perhaps and fall back into the 410s and climbing within 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm not convinced of that possibility unless we close today below 468.37. So down pivot 68.37, up pivot 488.53. If we close above it, 530.02 likely within 2 to 3 weeks. On the way up, there is this rising channel top at 514.60 that is part of a range of significant resistance that is narrowing gradually. Will all come together over the next few weeks anyway. And so closing above 488.53, I think by the end of next week, we test the 514.60 channel top, which we actually already tested several months ago before falling back to channel support. We've been operating inside of this very well-defined channel now for months, and it continues to define overhead resistance insofar as it converges with this 530.02 6-year channel top, where a long-term high could be placed. We could top out here through the first quarter, possibly well into 26. We consider it a 2 to 3 month target above 411.47 and make that a 2 to 3 week objective above 488.53. It's about as simple as that. Let's cover the downside. You know, downside, we do have obviously 468.37. This shows it pretty well here. If we close below 468.37, I would expect 449.30 within a day or two. But I do think that this carries with it kind of a full pivot south to 432.43, which you see here as a session containment level. So closing today below 468.37, good high for the week, good high into the holidays. I think within a week or two of closing below 468.37, we test 432.43. Within 2 to 3 weeks, potentially all the way back to 410.33, but I don't want to expect and will not expect 410.33 unless we close below 432.43. So downside today, I do have a little bit at 454.24. That would be an intraday objective below 468.37. As I said already, with a higher volatility framework, we just might fall all the way back to 449.30 on an intraday basis. Closing below 468.37 38.37, I would expect this 432.43 within 3 to 5 days by the end of next week, and within 2 or 3 weeks we could test 410.33. But once again, I'm not convinced of 410.33 unless we close below this pretty well-defined rising channel bottom at 432.43. We may bump this up to a 3-star support over time as it begins to push away from 410.33, but right now it's just too close to that area. I guess, if we do close below 468.37, I see no compelling reason to be long Tesla through the rest of the week and probably through the rest of the year. Through the rest of the week, down to 432.43, which is rising at a good pace. And, as we continue over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we just might see a revisit of 410.33. I think that pretty much rounds it out. I'm going to leave it at that for Tuesday's Daily Tesla Report. You have a great day.